Welcome back now for the final segment of the show, which is the market analysis. Toba Kameze, who is the Treasury Sales Manager at Nedbank, joins me in studio. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Good afternoon, and good. Thank you for having me.
Good. Glad to have you with us. So, as of today, Wednesday, how is the rand performing, and also how can you link it to what we've seen with regards to gold?
So we've seen the rand gain a bit of strength from the levels that we saw yesterday. It has gained about 0.4% from the levels that we saw yesterday, and that is linking it to gold. The rand is a commodity-linked currency, South Africa being an exporter of a number of commodities. So when the price of certain commodities goes up, it then also influences the price of or the strength of the rand. So we are seeing gold gaining also as well a bit of its losses from yesterday. So that has also helped stabilize or give gold a bit of fighting chance.
Right. Perhaps we can take a look at equities. You know, I would like to ask how perhaps Wall Street futures are reacting to persistent valuation concerns and also the awaited economic data for signs on the health of the labor market in the US.
Yeah, so there is concern. The mood in terms of risk in the market right now is sort of in a risk of mood because of, as you've rightfully said, the concerns on valuation of equities. We're seeing a knock of about 1.17 on the price of the S&P 500 on the screen right now, and that is due to concerns on the sky-high valuation of tech stocks that we've continued to see. There's concerns of sustainability. There's concerns, of saying, is AI just a boom, or is it something that is going to be sustainable? And with that, we've seen the rapid increase in tech stocks, and then there's concerns in terms of if they are correctly evaluated and what will happen if then there's a correction on those prices.
Given this sharp sell-off or global tech stocks that we're seeing, amid growing concerns of an AI investment bubble, how significant is it when it comes to, these developments signaling rather that markets have overpriced the growth of, or the expectations with regards to growth in terms of AI?
So it is significant because these are giant tech companies with huge balance sheets, and the investors have put in a lot of money into them. So there is that risk of mood in the market to say, is it a boom, or is it something that's going to be sustainable? So I think it's just a wait-and-see game in that regard, but there's definitely concerns from investors. We saw the also CEOs of Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs pointing out to those sky-high valuations and raising concerns as well. So those are sort of key individuals that are speaking about this, and markets are sort of then getting jittery when such comments are being made.
Yes. And then we move on to commodities. What are we looking at today? I do recall that this week OPEC Plus kind of halted our productions, but any changes today? Any ripple effects there?
Okay, so on oil, well, oil is sort of steady.
Yeah.
There is sort of a push and pull when it comes to the drivers of the price of oil right now. OPEC Plus have said that they will not be implementing their output increase in that was scheduled for early next year.
Yes.
So that has sort of then boosted the price of oil, but at the same time, we are seeing sort of stockpiles in the US. We're seeing a bit of lack, or if I can say it, lack of demand or projection of reduced demand in some economies. So that is sort of then balanced out the effect of that on the price of oil, if I can put it like that. But yeah, it's sort of steady, 0.15% decline. Gold, on the other hand, has gained significantly, 0.78%. We saw gold losing about 1% yesterday. Due to there is sentiment in the market as investors move away from your risky assets, the stocks that we've just spoken about, they then tend to look for safer options.
Right.
So gold then is benefiting from that, and we are just watching to see if that continues.
Right. Let's move the conversation closer to home in terms of currencies. In neighboring South Africa, the PMI data came out from 50.2% in September to a decline. What's your sentiment or reading or observation actually of the data that came out?
Yeah, so the data that came out sort of didn't really move the needle much in terms of the currencies. I think the rand is just taking cues from global drivers as well as the price of commodities. But those numbers basically showed that the South African economy shrinked from a private sector perspective from 50.02 in September to 48.8, as we've said, in October, which is the first in 5 months. I think for the last five consecutive months, we've been reporting a PMI number that is, increasing. But we've then are seeing this contraction now in October. Albeit it's a small one, but yeah, it is. Markets are watching that. But in terms of the currency per se, it didn't really move it that much. It's taking cues from global sentiments.
Right. Positive investor sentiment or private sector growth in South Africa. Let's take a look at the rand. How is it looking versus some of the world's strongest currencies?
Yeah, so it's against the pound. It sort of gained a bit as well, 0.616%, and then slightly dropped against the euro, 0.09, but I would say that is quite a flat movement. So the rand overall, we are in an upward environment, looking at where we're coming from in previous weeks. But we are seeing a bit of strength from yesterday. So basing it off of what we saw yesterday, it is improving. But when you look at, you just extend your view to the past few weeks, we are seeing an uptick a decline rather, in the value of the rand.
Right. Toba, thank you very much for your insights. We've run out of time. That was Toba Gamete, Treasury Sales Manager at Nedbank, sharing insights on what is shaping the day's trade. This has been Nedbank Business Watch. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, bye-bye.
Make better money choices.